Alright, this is Comics for Fun and Profit. This is the Comics Review with Bob and Drew. Today we're going to talk about Superior Spider-Man 11, Daredevil End of Days 8, Daredevil Dark Knights number 1, East of West 3, and 10 Grand number 2. Let's kick it off with Superior Spider-Man 11. Bob, what's this one all about?
Well, you might think it was about the Green Goblin, or the Goblin King, if you read the last issue, but we didn't see him at all this issue, which is kind of upsetting. You know, I was expecting to see some Goblin stuff. This one focused more on the death of the Spider Slayer, which is something that happened quite a while back.
Yeah, I heard I heard him mention the Spider Island storyline, and I had never read that, so there must have been some stuff going on with Spider Island that I am not aware of.
Yeah, that's Smith, which he's been in Spider-Man comics for a long time. You know, he created the original Spider Slayer. He's a scientist. You know, Jameson hired him and to go after Spider-Man way back in the day. And then in this, you know, in the volume 2 where Spider Island stuff happened, you know, Jameson's wife gets killed, and they're kind of going back to that, basically.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I really liked. I like this, even though I was expecting some stuff with, like you said, the Goblin King. You know, we were on the edge of our seats after that last issue, and we're ready to go, and then we're going to take a little detour.
Yeah, it was a really unexpected detour too. And, you know what I mean? It's like they just like picked a place to go in the back issue bin, you know, kind of, and just jump to another story. Well, it was Dan Slott's story, so I guess you can kind of go to any spots that he's already written from, you know.
Yeah, I noticed on this it says that it's a Dan Slott plot, and the story was by somebody else.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Maybe that other person was really a big fan of the Spider Island run, which it's considered by critics to be one of the better runs of Slott's run on Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, everybody talks about Spider Island like it's great. So I really need to go back probably and check that out. About how many comics did that run through?
That was a huge run. Very, very large. It was over a year. Well, I think it was over a year. I mean, they run it bi-monthly, so I'd have to look it up. But I think it's probably about a year bi-monthly, so that would be like 20 issues.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it might be a little bit less than that, but it's a fairly large run.
Is it collected as one trade or multiple?
I think it's in volumes, but there might be a full, you know, more expensive trade out there that has them all in there.
We started off again with what I kind of like is, you know, Ock in the classroom working on his doctorate, and of course more intelligent than his professor, and cannot hide his disdain for the guy. And then he just kind of springs into action from there, man. I just love those scenes.
Oh yeah, me too. There's a good splash page on there too, where he's jumping into action that I really liked.
Oh yeah, that about 10 pages in where it's like he's like cross-legged in the air. Yeah, that's a great scene.
Yeah, it's like a classic, you know, Spider-Man move, even though Ock's doing it. It's funny you mentioned him being smarter than everybody in the classroom, because then that carries on to him being in the prison and outsmarting Smith. You know, he's thinking he's got all his bases covered for, you know, getting out of there. And you know, Ock was in that position as well, and he thought of everything as well.
Well, I don't know. That last scene, I'm not sure. That last page. I don't know if he's thought of everything yet or not. He might have missed something.
Yeah, well, I mean, he thought of all the ways to get in and out.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, he didn't see the little spider bots coming that basically go into a person and, like, builds that, like, technological armor or whatever they got going on with, Spider-Man's baddies.
Yeah, that was amazing. And was has that been around?
That's one of Smith's technologies that he uses.
That's pretty cool. The other writer, the script writer, is Christos Gage.
Oh, Gage. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And this is Camuncoli, Giuseppe Camuncoli on pencils. So that's a different artist too, right?
Giuseppe's, I think he's done other stuff on Spider-Man. It sounds familiar.
Yeah. They've got a rotating crew that just keeps this stuff cranking out, and you don't really lose much.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're doing that because I talked about this in the last podcast when Brand New Day started the storyline. They had Slott and a bunch of people, and it kind of rotated. And then, Slott became the main writer. But, like, there's a lot of rotation going on there. There's a bunch of people writing, like, each book. I think maybe he likes that group effort.
Yeah, and to just maintain the pace, probably. It's kind of reminiscent when the way Doc Ock is outsmarting everybody. Is it kind of reminiscent for you of Batman? Always being one step ahead and knowing, having figured everything out already?
Yeah, it kind of is, The fact that he is a superhero now kind of puts him in that position as one step ahead of everybody.
I thought that was cool.
Next issue, and maybe he's already got Smith fooled. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, we had the little what are they called? The little bots.
Oh yeah, he brought the spider bots with him.
Yeah, his spider bots versus Doc Ock's spider bots.
What would be Smith's little spider slayers?
Spider slayers, okay. Yeah. I was kind of interested in seeing those kind of fight each other. That was what I was looking forward to. It was kind of quick and over with pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, now he has a super Scorpion and super Vulture and super Boomerang to deal with. The Spider Slayer, Vulture, Spider Slayer, Scorpion, Spider Slayer. Well, it's funny, Scorpion was actually created kind of to be a Spider Slayer because the Scorpion was the animal that was, most predatorial towards a spider. That's why Scorpion is the Scorpion.
Okay. So he is one of Spider-Man's later villains.
Scorpion?
Spider Slayer.
Not really. I mean, before 100, you saw Spider Slayers.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was still later, because of course you got Goblin and Ock and everybody way before that. Actually, you got a lot of people. You got the whole Sinister Six way before that. So.
And Scorpion was part of the Sinister Six?
No.
No. How long has he been around?
He's been around really early. I'm thinking in the 30s.
Oh, okay.
Or in the 30s. He was pretty early.
I can barely remember any of the McFarlane run, which was last time I read Spider-Man before now, and it really shows how little I know about the Spider Universe when there's all this new stuff coming in and all these callbacks to these old villains, and I feel like I'm missing out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you can read probably, 1 through 50 or even a little bit before that, get a nice basis of who the villains are, their origins and stuff.
That's the Stan Lee days?
Yeah. I mean, he introduced all those characters. And now that I think about it, I actually think that Scorpion was one of the original Sinister Six.
Okay.
I think it was Vulture, Ock, Craven. I think Scorpion, Electro. That's 5. It's gotta be, yeah. He's gotta be in there somewhere, because there wasn't too much before that. Mysterio. That's your 6.
Well, this is the second issue back to back now where we have no Peter Parker, no ghost of Peter Parker in it, and I don't know how badly I really missed that. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought I would miss it, but I don't really miss it at all, which is really strange.
It seems like it's just Spider-Man.
Yeah, because what I always loved about Spider-Man, especially the early issues, was his love story. You know, the stuff that Stan Lee usually called soap opera. He'd make fun of himself in his issues, saying, "Oh, let's get out of the soap opera and get back to the action." You know, But I loved that stuff. He'd be juggling some women. You know, he was a ladies' man. You know, and now that's gone. Of course, Ock's definitely not the ladies' man.
No. Although he and Anna seem to get along pretty well.
Yeah.
He isn't. He does have a way of sticking his foot in his mouth.
Dolt.
Yeah, dolt. Yeah, oaf. I love those. What do you think? If you were to give this issue a grade, A through F, what do you think?
I'd probably give it a B.
Yeah, I'm about the same. I'm about the same place. It was a good solid issue, but it wasn't as good as 10 in my mind. But I still enjoyed the read.
And really, the only reason I gave it a B, I liked the story. I just didn't like the quick jump to it. It just felt like it came out of nowhere.
They should, yeah. What happened? Where's our Goblin King? What's going on down there? Yeah.
I don't like the sudden switch. It just kind of off-putting, especially when you're reading bi-monthly. You know, like I like long runs, and I'm not getting them. I don't feel like.
And I'm wondering if that's because Slot's not on this book. Slot was on the last one. Well, more so, he was on the last one. I think he still plotted this somehow. So I wonder if that he's writing his story with the Goblin King, and he throws these one-offs in there when he can. Well, this is probably going to be a multi-issue arc, because it kind of a cliffhanger on that last page, you know?
Yeah, he might be going back to the days of early Spider-Man where there was just a ton of 2-issue arcs. I mean, that's all early Spider-Man was 2-issue arcs. You know? He could be going back to that. There's still like an ongoing story in the background, but there's always like a 2-issue arc, even though there's still some other stuff happening. I kind of feel like that's what's happening with Superior a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind this at all without Peter Parker's ghost floating around. So, in my mind, this can just keep going. This hasn't even come close to, in my mind, of being a tired format with Doc Ock. I would just say, just keep this going. We'll reconvene about this time next year and see if we're sick of Doc Ock as Superior, right?
Yeah, it was funny. I was actually going to give Ghost Parker a nickname and call him the Boy in Blue, because he's always in blue, but now he can't do that.
Yeah, because he's just not there.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking to myself, well, maybe they'll bring him back. There'll be a Peter Parker inside, what's left of Peter Parker inside the brain or something, and he's bouncing around the memories or something again, but I don't know, maybe not. I can't figure Dan Slott out. I can't. He's one step ahead of me.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't go cliche and have the Avengers go back in time and just undo it all or something like that.
Yeah, no mind wipes or anything like that, please.
Yeah, I don't want to see that happen.
Yep. Anything else we need to say about Superior?
I think we covered it.
Okay. Well, next up is Daredevil End of Days number 8. This is the final issue of the 8-issue miniseries by Brian Michael Bendis, and his take on Daredevil has been fantastic. I love this run. Really enjoyed the first 6 issues a lot. The 7th issue took a little bit of a twist, and now this number 8 is bringing it on home and getting us some closure. What do you think, Bob?
I sat down and read them all back to back, and as a complete story, I think it's fantastic. I think it's some of the better stuff I've seen Bendis do, especially with the character Daredevil. I love how dark it is. I love the portrayal of Bullseye the most, is what I really loved. And Ben Urich, you know, he's basically the main character through the whole series. Yeah, he's a great character to explore as well.
Ben, the reporter from the Bugle.
Yeah.
And yeah, the way this miniseries kicked off with Daredevil being killed in the beginning, you know, in the middle of the street, he's gunned down by, was it Bullseye that killed him?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think, but it's been 8 months for me since since I read it, so it's been a while.
His arch nemesis, Bullseye.
Yeah, and then we get some flashbacks before that when Daredevil was at the end of his rope and had snapped and killed Kingpin, and you just can't even fathom that, you know, that he would do that. And so you know this is a futuristic tale. This is at the end of Daredevil's life after a long career of crime fighting. And then you have this Daily Bugle angle with Ben Urich, the reporter, coming in and trying to piece it together and solve the mystery. And it's just been a real fascinating mystery. And for the reporter to uncover this and uncover that and meet this guy from the past and that guy from the past, it's been really, really cool, I think.
Yeah, it's nice seeing Ben because in the history of Daredevil, he's always there. He's always wants to get into Daredevil's life, and you know, Daredevil has so much going on. He doesn't really give that back to him, and they actually talk about that, you know. And it was really cool of him going back to all Daredevil's his villains and seeing what they're up to now. You know, that was cool. I know you said 7 was not much going on, but I mean the reveal in 8 was really cool. You know, when you find out what the word that Daredevil was saying at the end of his life was.
Mapone. We finally find out what Mapone is. And at first when they burned the envelope, I was like, oh no, we're never gonna know what Mapone is. And, that's basically, the driving force for the whole series has been, what is Mapone? What is it, what does that mean? Why did Daredevil say that as his last word? What could that mean? And we get to find that out, and it's a very satisfying ending, right?
Yeah, it's funny you say Mapone, because I was saying Map 1. I was thinking in my mind, it's Map 1, the entire series. Yeah, there was that moment where he's looking at Ben's looking at a computer, and one folder is labeled Map, and one folder is labeled 1. I'm like, okay, it's 2 words, it's Map 1. And then you find out it's the girl. And now you're like, okay, Mapone is her name.
It could be Mapone. It could be Mapone, right?
Mapone, yeah, but I was saying Map 1 the whole time. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was saying Mapone the whole time, like Al Capone, Mapone. But, yeah. We'll find out down when, at some panel or something that Bendis is on, and he'll pronounce it, Mapone or something like that.
Yeah. The one thing I didn't really understand was, they're saying, like, when Stick dies, he gets reincarnated into a new body or whatever. If you find out who that is, but you're like, is that really, like, is there, like, a spiritual
I think it I think it was metaphorically reincarnated. The Maponi was the screw it. We're gonna spoil this. Maponi was the daughter of Matt Murdock and who was it? Who was the character in the picture? Did you recognize her? The Romanov? Who is she?
Oh, Black Widow.
That's Black Widow. Yeah, okay. So the daughter of those two, and then he nicknames her Stick because of his mentor or sensei that beat the crap out of him, taught him everything he knows, and then the metaphorically, she was going to be his stick, you know?
Yeah. Well,
I don't think there was real reincarnation involved at all.
Yeah. Well, he told Ben's son when he was training him as Daredevil that, you know, you're gonna find this reincarnated stick, and he's gonna train you when you need it the most. You're gonna find this person when you need it the most, and then he finds this person.
Yeah. But I don't think it's really Stick.
And her nickname happens to be Stick.
Yeah.
Which, you know, would be really upsetting if there was no reason behind it, but she's like a pool shark. So then it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that kind of makes sense. I didn't even put that together, you know? I was just thinking because of his sensei from before that was the deal.
Yeah, remember that he meets her in that pool hall and she's
like
whooping everybody.
Yeah.
Guys are all ticked off, like you can't make that shot.
Yeah, that's a different angle that I did not even put together. That's ridiculous. Yeah, nice.
There's a lot of little things in there, man. It was a really good complete run. Really good last issue. I was very impressed. I think it's hard to throw in a Daredevil miniseries when you got, you know, such a good ongoing series at the same time. And Ben just pulled it off, so.
Yeah, it just it came out of nowhere. You know, I was shaking my head. Well, why are they doing a Daredevil miniseries? They've got a solid series going on. It doesn't make any sense. But he had a good story, and the art was solid, and, you know, for me it's an A. Yeah,
I give it an A.
Yeah.
Cause with all really it's like almost like the whole series was a mystery. You know, it's almost like you're reading some detective comics, you know. There's like this mystery behind it the whole time, and, you know, it's a satisfying finish to this mystery.
I don't know why Ben Urich had to die, but it still was good.
You don't know why he had to die?
Yeah, I really liked the guy. I didn't want him to die.
Well, you might as well kill main characters off when it's a mini-series has nothing to do with continuity.
Yeah, that's true.
You have your chance. You need to take it.
Yeah, you might as well burn that up.
Yeah.
Now, going from Daredevil End of Days 8, let's go into the next Daredevil miniseries that started and came out the same week, Daredevil Dark Nights number 1. Now, this is another 8-issue miniseries. It is going to be 3 creative teams. The first creative team is what's the guy's name that's did the first one? He's from
You mean the first miniseries?
Yeah, who did this Daredevil Dark Nights? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't think of it. Let me pull it up.
First issue. You know what? I don't remember either. Whoops.
It's Weeks. Lee Weeks.
Oh, Lee Weeks.
Yeah,
okay.
and he has a history with Daredevil. And he's going to take the first 3 issues, then they're going to hand it off to another creative team for 2 issues, and then finish up the final 3 issues with a third creative team. So it's kind of an anthology of Daredevil stories, a 3-issue, a 2-issue, and a 3-issue. And we'll see how that goes. This was the first one, and it's called Dark Nights, and it was Daredevil getting bested by basically a street thug. That's how it starts off, which was kind of surprising.
Yeah, I didn't know what they were going. At first I thought they were going for kind of an origin story. Like, telling an origin why, real time's happening, at the same time, kind of like connecting the two things that are going on at the same time. But then I read it and I'm like, that's not what happened there. It's just an original story. So I don't really know where they're going with it, honestly.
Yeah, and it was kind of uneven. There was some stuff with him in the hospital bed, and we've seen that before with him overreacting to the sounds around him, and the whole organ donation angle that kind of end up being the whole reason for the issue, and that'll play out over as this winter storm beats down on New York City. It was okay, but after reading End of Days, and I read End of Days 8, fully satisfied, and then came right into this Daredevil Dark Knights 1, so it was tough to live up to.
Yeah. See, my issue was I read the full run of End of Days, and then a minute after read this comic. I thought, okay, I'm going to get an 8-issue arc. There's going to be like a big thing that happens at the beginning, and we're going to go from there. And it seems like he just has a connection with this kid in the hospital, and then he's like, they're playing on this Daredevil doesn't give up thing, which we already know, and then he's going after the kid. And it just seems like something that could be done in a one and done or a 2-issue arc or something.
Yeah, I think that's what this is going to be a 3-issue story. I don't know what's going to happen after he goes after the helicopter and gets the heart. I don't know how you get 2 more issues out of that, but maybe there's something else that has to happen. I don't know. I mean, for me, it was okay. I mean, I was really digging Daredevil anyway, coming off of this End of Days. So, if I can get more Daredevil, I'm happy. But it was probably just a C. I would just say just a C for me.
Yeah, I would give it the same. It just felt to me like I've already read it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Maybe a C plus.
It felt like I already read it, but I would actually give it less than a C if it wasn't for I loved the artwork. I really did. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I just love that opening page with him half in, half out of the ground, half out of the snowbank, I mean, it's just really cool.
It just seemed like a good mix of what's going on in the ongoing series and then what the kind of work that was in the darker Daredevils. Because the darker Daredevils, the art usually is really, 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 really dark and everything looks gritty. And the new Daredevil ongoing series isn't like that at all. I felt like they kind of mixed them up a little bit, and they got a good product out of it.
But where End of Days was just not in continuity at all, you could probably see this Dark Knights thing happening within continuity. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, really there was no main characters there except for Daredevil himself.
Yeah, no Foggy.
Yeah, so I mean, you can get away with this story, just throwing it in there. I mean, it could be in continuity. This could be something that happened to him yesterday,
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's worth it. It might be worth a read. I'll definitely read the next one, and just to see what's going on. But I don't know if I'll finish this miniseries. I really don't. I would like to see, give it at least one more, maybe 2 more. But I don't know if I'll finish it.
Yeah. I hope they don't change the artist unless someone's better. That's really all I got to say about it. I mean, there's really not much going on. I'll continue to read it just because it gives me more Daredevil, basically.
Yeah. I have to give it to Mark Waid because, I didn't think much of Daredevil before I started reading his stuff, and man, I just can't get enough. I love the character.
I agree with you. I used to make fun of him. I'm like, oh yeah, Daredevil, whatever, And Mark Waid made you fall in love with the character, really. Both sides, mask and no mask.
Yeah, there's I want to dig back and kind of read some of the old issues. and find out what's going on. And you've read some. How many have you read now of the last run?
I'm on 40 of issue 40 of volume 2.
So 1 through 40 you just picked up in the last couple of weeks. You've read 40 issues of Daredevil?
Yeah, and the last chunk I've been reading is all Bendis.
Wow.
And it's good. At first I didn't think he had a 2-issue story which was just about Ben and a little bit about Daredevil. I didn't think much of it. And it changed creative teams and went back to Bendis, and I think it's him for a long time, but he's taken off and everything's really good so far.
So he has Ben Urich, the reporter from End of Days, is a character in his run back then as well.
Yeah, it's a big part of his run. I think he's really important to Bendis. I think he really likes that character. He likes to inject him into the Daredevil world a lot.
Yeah, he's a cool character, and I'd like to see more of him. So yeah, I agree. Let's if we're done with Daredevil, let's move on to an Image title, East of West 3. That is a Hickman book, and kind of a post-apocalyptic 4 horsemen sci-fi beats western type of a story that I'm kind of digging. What do you think of this latest installment?
I really liked it. I liked it just as much as the other ones. They're piecing together this world, a little bit at a time, and it's all good for me so far.
How'd you like to be in the succession for president? Man, they took care of those. They took care of those people, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, that's all part of Death's master plan, So you just basically don't get in the way of Death.
Yeah. So at the end of 2, East of West 2, we find out that Death's wife is still alive. Right?
Yeah.
So we get a little bit more of that in East of West 3, and kind of some, I don't know, Chinese dictator tie-in or something. Some Middle Eastern connection. I'm really not sure what's going on over there. I was a little confused on that. And then the other horsemen are still in hot pursuit, and we touch on them a little bit in this issue. But I don't, I'm just kind of going along for the ride. I don't really understand everything that's going on. I can't figure it out, but I'm enjoying what I'm reading.
Yeah, I think he's unveiling a little bit at a time, Like, from the other issues, you saw that bartender, and you think he's an unimportant character.
Yeah, he was a very minor character, I thought.
Yeah, then you get into this issue and you find out he's a big piece of the puzzle, which I thought was really cool.
What was his up with the eye behind the patch, though? What's that about?
Well, it seems like it's its own creature. he can't control it, just jumps out and starts talking to the 3 horsemen.
And it's alive, it's its own being, I guess.
Yeah. And before, I don't know if it was the other eye that came out last time, in the last issue.
I don't know.
It's just so cool, man. Hickman's just he's got a mind like no other,
Yeah, and he's doing some cool stuff over with New Avengers, and is he doing both Avengers books also?
I'm not following the Avengers.
Yeah, I think he's doing Uncanny, maybe.
He does?
What?
Is it New Avengers?
I think he does New Avengers, and I think he does Avengers. I don't think he does Uncanny. I think that's somebody else. I'll have to look now. But he's doing some great stuff, and he had a great run on Fantastic Four before Fraction took over. That was really solid as well. So he does sci-fi really, really well. He's like the best, I think, at writing sci-fi comics.
Oh, this is right up his alley then.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of elements. I really love the horse that Death rides. He looks like a cowboy. No, Death does. You know what I mean? But then he's got this metal, chariot. It's like, it looks like a horse, but it's actually like almost like a motorcycle type of thing. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. And it seems like there's a battle coming. The next issue, we should have a big battle between, basically, kind of a Chinese guy he has armies at his disposal, and Death has, well, he's Death, so we'll see what he brings.
Well, you find out that the two people he's running with are witches in this issue. They actually tell you what they are. Like, I didn't realize that. I thought they were just like, just really strong fighters or whatever, but they're witches. I don't think we've seen any. Maybe we'll see some cool stuff that they can do.
Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, I glossed right over that. You're right.
So we got witches, we got the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, we got all this like cool technology. I mean, he can just inject anything into the series.
One thing I thought was cool was, the president was in the White Tower, not the White House, so that was kind of cool. That was a neat touch.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, he's got like a layout of the land.
Mm-hmm.
Like a map of how the United States is separated into these different areas now. I think the White Tower is kind of like in the middle, like in the Midwest or something.
Yeah, it's just a really neat take. I don't know what I'd give this as a grade though. I mean, it's not an A for me, just because I'm a little confused but it's still a strong book, so I'd probably say a B+.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually give it an A because, I thought he released a lot of good new information. I know some of it was a little hard to follow, but I feel like he's gonna tie those strings up for us. And I love the artwork and I love the world. It's something that's never been done before. I don't feel like I'm reading anybody else's work or pieces of anybody else's work when I'm reading it.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Anything else about East of West?
No, that's about it until next issue.
Till next issue, yeah. Also from Image, we're going to talk a little bit about 10 Grand, number 2. This is, second issue from J. Michael Straczynski. And the first one was, really great. It's kind of a really unique, idea about a guy who, when he dies, he gets to spend 5 minutes with his wife in heaven before being sucked back down to earth to do the bidding of these angels. He's kind of their enforcer. And this one kind of continued the story on, solving this, trying to find this missing girl. What do you think of this, Bob?
I love this title. You just brought up an interesting thing. You said he gets to spend 5 minutes in heaven. Well, this issue brought up something that follows that. He wonders, is it really heaven? Somebody puts a seed in his mind that you might not be actually in heaven when you're talking to your wife, and that really bothered him.
Yeah, that's true. He thought that's where she was. And that gave him he's very tortured, but that gave him some sense of peace to know that at least she was in heaven, and that he would get to see her every once in a while, but only after he died, and only for 5 minutes. And he has some really interesting battles here. He has a kind of a friend he brings in that's blind, but has a sixth sense that he can see, who was an interesting character. I hope we see a little bit more of him down the road. I think he would be, he'd be an interesting addition. We also saw, that demons can't really enjoy life like we can because they don't have corporal bodies, so they have to trick, people like us, unwitting fools like us, to swallow them or something. so that they can use our bodies and eat and get pleasure and all that stuff and experience those things. And that was a really cool kind of digression and explanation that they went down. I thought that was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. And it just got a lot of really neat touches in it. And I know Straczynski starts strong and finishes weak, but I'm not going to hold his past against him. I'm enjoying this a lot. So
yeah, I agree. Like you said, when you think about how much stuff is crammed in this issue, you're saying the things you learned about the demons when they take over, human bodies so they get that pleasure. You talked about the 5 minutes thing, which you knew before, but
you got to experience it here. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get the guy that can see, inside this unreal world, and he's blind, but he can still see that. I mean, you get a lot in one issue, I feel, with this book, and that's really cool. You're right. He's definitely starting off strong. And I didn't think I'd like it because I thought it reminded me too much of Constantine or something. But the dialogue is really great. It's really clever.
Oh yeah, and we did finally get this glimpse of what he experiences with his 5 minutes in heaven, and right away there's this clock ticking down, and his 5 minutes, how quickly it passes, and he doesn't know what to say. He only has 5 minutes with this woman that he loves, and he holds her, and then she says something, and he says something, and before you know it, their time is up, and they haven't really got to express all the things they wanted to, because they've only had 5 minutes. So that was really neat, and I'm sure that's going to happen again down the road. They'll touch on that in another couple issues maybe. But yeah, it was really cool, like you said, Bob, about him questioning whether, she's actually even in heaven. Where is she? But then we do find out that angels don't lie.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much in this issue. They have that girl. You find out the people that are behind this are trick him into going to meet her, and they know when he's going to die, so they can kind of follow him to find his path to heaven or whatever it is, to find a way to basically get to him. I thought that was really cool. I mean, there's so much just happens in this issue. It's nuts.
Yeah, and it's basically just one guy adventures, really. Not a lot of supporting cast. But he's really easy to root for. You wouldn't think he would be, but he is. He's very easy to root for and get behind. And for me, I mean, I got to give this one an A. I really do.
Yeah, me too, definitely. Even though I'm not a fan of the artwork.
Yeah, it's a little dark.
I don't know how you feel about it. Well, I just feel like the pencils aren't that great. They just feel kind of weak.
And by that you mean you like crisp lines?
Well, no, it's just there's not very much detail. I don't think. I feel like it's like when someone draws something, they draw the character, they add some texture to add some depth or whatever. I feel like there's not much depth here.
Okay.
It's interesting, and there's a lot of uses of orange and red, and the inks and stuff. And it fits the book well. It's just the penciling that is just, I feel like there could be more there. I feel like they spend too much time on that inking and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, if art doesn't, distract me, I'm fine with it. I mean, I do appreciate great art, but, I'm not that crazy. It doesn't matter to me as much as the story does. So, I was okay with it. It didn't hurt my experience at all. So it's still an A for me.
Yeah, I'm still going to an A because the story is so strong it carries it no matter what.
Let's see, is that all we've read this week?
That is all I've read for this week. I did read a couple other titles, but they weren't that great. Great enough for me to talk about.
Yeah, we can talk about crappy ones too, but maybe we'll do that next time.
That sounds good.
Okay. Well, once again, we got a little carried away and couldn't help ourselves, mostly me, with the spoilers. So we'll put a disclaimer on the podcast for all the folks so they know that I'm gonna spoil a couple of these issues. If hopefully they'll listen to it after you've read these. This is Comics Review with Bob and Drew for Comics for Fun and Profit. And until next time, bye bye.